Hello and welcome to The Explainer. So, let's talk about a core human problem, right? We're all on this constant quest for satisfaction, but it feels like suffering is just always there, no matter what we do. Today, we're going to dive into a really fascinating philosophy that explores why we hurt and, more importantly, how we might actually find some real freedom from it. According to Gerardo Schmedling Torres, this is it. This is the fundamental purpose that drives literally everything we do, finding that sense of complete satisfaction. Now, the idea here isn't that our goal is wrong. It's that our methods for getting there are almost always, well, kind of flawed. And what do these flawed paths look like? They're the usual suspects, aren't they? We try to change other people. We chase power or fame or money. We throw ourselves completely into these big, noble causes. But this philosophy argues that all of these external things are basically traps. They feel like the right thing to do, but they always create new frustrations. You get locked in this cycle where solving one problem just digs up another one. So, that leads us to the big question. If all our best efforts to fix the world and find our own happiness just keep leading to more frustration, then why is suffering such a constant? What are we missing here? Okay, let's just do a quick thought experiment. Be really honest with yourself. If I handed you a magic wand right now, unlimited power, would you use it to fix the world? Would you just wipe out all the injustice, all the corruption, everything you think is wrong? Your gut reaction to that is super important because this philosophy says that impulse, that desire to fix everything, points right to the real source of your suffering. And here's the crazy twist. That noble desire, that powerful urge to fix the world, it's described as a fight against life itself. The argument is that our constant struggle to bend reality to fit our own ideals is the thing that creates our suffering. We think we're fighting for justice, but what we're really fighting is just reality. So here's the key takeaway. Suffering isn't actually caused by the bad things out there in the world. It's caused by the internal conflict, right? It's the gap between what is and what our mind screams should be. The suffering happens right there, in that gap. So if the problem is this internal fight we're having with reality, then the solution has to be internal too. And that brings us to the core concept here, acceptology, or what you could call acceptology. And it's presented not as some kind of faith or belief system, but as a practical science, a way to end that internal war. So what is acceptology? Really, it's described as a set of tools for anyone who's just tired of learning everything through suffering. The whole goal is to shift your perspective from fighting against life's events to flowing with them, to learn to see the purpose in them, even when they seem totally chaotic or painful. Okay, this process is built on 5 core acceptances, and this is really the heart of the whole thing. First, you have to accept letting go of your rigid ideals, that mental blueprint you have for how the world is supposed to work. Second, you start to trust that every single situation, especially the hard ones, is perfectly designed for you to learn something. It has a purpose. Third, you recognize that you don't change reality by force. Instead, there's this underlying universal law that's in charge of the outcomes. Fourth, you accept that a difficult situation will keep showing up until you finally learned the lesson it came to teach you. And fifth, that big change, that shift, only happens when you have a new level of comprehension, when you finally truly get it. Now, it's really easy to hear accept reality and think it just means giving up, being a doormat. But this philosophy draws a super sharp line between 2 totally different things, real acceptance and just plain resignation. This quote right here gets to the heart of it. Resignation comes from feeling powerless, like you're just beaten by life. But acceptance, in this view, is an act of incredible power and understanding. It's choosing to see that every circumstance, even the painful ones, is there to teach you something from a place of love. Just look at the difference here. Resignation is totally passive. It comes from ignorance. It's a state of defeat, and it just leads to more and more frustration. Acceptance is the complete opposite. It's an active state of understanding. It comes from real comprehension. It recognizes its own power, and it's the only thing that leads to true liberation from suffering. So, what's the big payoff? What's the ultimate goal of practicing this kind of radical acceptance? Well, the source describes it as achieving something pretty amazing, a state of completely invulnerable inner peace. This philosophy often brings up this familiar idea to make a point: my peace I give you, not as the world gives. And that highlights a massive difference. The kind of peace we're talking about here isn't the temporary peace you get from the outside world. It's something else entirely. Here's how to think about it. Being at peace is temporary. It's that feeling you get on a quiet vacation. It needs you to be isolated from conflict, and the second a challenge pops up, it's gone. But having peace is a permanent, unbreakable skill. It doesn't run from conflict. In fact, it's actually trained and made stronger by conflict. It's forged in the fire of your challenges. So how do you develop this skill? Well, first, you gotta stop sabotaging yourself. The philosophy uses this really powerful metaphor. Your own resentments, your fears, your justifications, they're like internal thieves. These negative thoughts literally feed on the energy of your own suffering. And as long as you keep feeding them, they're just going to keep stealing your peace. And that leads to the ultimate promise here. It's said that defeating your own ignorance is how you get to the promised land. Notice it's not about defeating other people or conquering the world. The whole journey, the entire fight, is internal. So this explainer really leaves us with one final big question to chew on. This promised land they talk about, this place of total peace and health, is that some physical place we're supposed to be looking for out there in the world? Or, as this philosophy so powerfully suggests, is it an internal state of mind, a kingdom of peace that we have to build right here, right now inside ourselves?